Okay, Shalom Aleichem. This is me, Mincel89. This video will be on the eye of a needle. I know you're asking, what the heck does an eye of a needle have to do with anything theological? The answer is in Matthew 19:24, where it says, "And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel, Camelon, to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God." The context here is the rich man come to Yeshua, asked how would one to enter the kingdom of heaven? What does one have to do? Yeshua said, keep the commandment. The rich man asked, which ones? Yeshua gave a list of commandments, and the rich man said, well, I have done all this since my youth. I have observed all of this perfect since my youth. Yeshua said, one thing you lack, go sell all your possessions and then follow me. The rich man left sad. In verse 23, Yeshua said, it is difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God, of heaven. And then verse 24 in this verse said, and again I say unto you, in the Greek, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. So, what the Greek says is not only hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom, but it is impossible for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Why? Because it's impossible for a camel to enter through the eye of a needle. We know that needle is a actual surgical needle because the same passage in Luke, Luke uses a term that only means a surgical needle. He uses the technical surgical term for needle. So, we know what type of needle he's talking about, a surgical or sewing needle. So this is virtually impossible. So the Greek text has it impossible for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Matter of fact, I've actually heard a Catholic and Pentecostal say that it is impossible that no rich man can enter the kingdom of heaven, which means ideals to the Pope, with that being the case. But anyhow, back to the topic, camel, the Peshitta, however, says, again I say unto you, it is easier for a rope, Camel, to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. This is an interesting reading because here the lesson is a very interesting lesson. Just as the rope, or actually the heavy rope, can also mean beam. So just as a heavy rope, if this heavy rope resembles your richness. If you're a rich man, it resembles your money, your estate, all of your riches. And if you loosen that rope up, strand by strand, it will become small enough so it can pass, like a thread, pass through the eye of a needle. And this, which teaches that for a rich man can enter the kingdom of heaven, but he has to tighten his possessions, or loosen his possessions up a little. Don't stop being stingy, but give tzedakah and such with his possessions. That's what it's talking about, teaching. It's a beautiful teaching. But how do we have this difference of reading? Why does one say rope and the other says camel? The answer is because the word rope, gamla, and the word for camel, gamla, are the same, virtually the same word. All the same letters. Gimel, Mim, Lamed, Aleph. So the Greek redactors reading it just got one of the two meanings wrong. That's what's happened. Made Yeshua look like an idiot. Then. But to be fair to the Greek, however, there is a later reading, later in this manuscript reading, specifically manuscript 579, 1424, and among others, that read rope, Camelon. Why is this important? Because Camelon, rope, and Camelon, camel, are identical. They are only one letter difference. Rope has an iota, where camel has an eta. They're spelled identical one to each other, as you can see, with only one letter difference, and they're pretty much pronounced almost the same. Very, very similar in pronunciation. So there are three ways this could have gone down in the Greek. On the Greek side, A, the original redacted of the Greek text misread the Aramaic and read it as kamelon, camel, and thus wrote it as camel. A later Greek scribe, reading the earlier Greek text, probably the earlier Greek text was faded, was fading out, and thus he's reading a faded copy. And when he gets to eta, the curve on the eta is faded out where he can barely see it, if see it at all. So he misread the eta as an iota, and thus we come up with rope. That, to be fair, was the Aramaic, the Greek side. A second possibility is that the both Greek versions are looking at the Aramaic. The earliest one, again, camel, looked at the Aramaic, misread it as camel. Later scribe looked at the same Aramaic text and read it correctly as rope and put down rope. A third possibility is that the earlier scribe, reading the Aramaic, read it as a rope. He knew that the word for rope is kamilon. Trying to write it down, because the two are pronounced similar, he miswrote it, misspelled the word, and put an eta instead of an iota. And that's very possible. Thus, we got Camel, the later redactor of the Greek text, looking at the Greek text and said, this doesn't make any sense, and wrote down what he thought was supposed to be written. So these are the three options. That's to be fair to the Greek redactors. So until next time.